Pac-Man is back. It's just been announced that Manny Pacquiao is officially back out of retirement at 46 years old to face the current WBC world champion in Mario Barrios. This is going down in the summer, July 19th in Las Vegas for the WBC title. Pacquiao at 46 getting a title shot. And while it is cool to see Pacquiao returning, it is kind of just sad to see a legend like this coming back when he's a lot older and could potentially end his career on a bad note. So this is the harsh reality of Manny Pacquiao's return.
But before we get into that, we're Punch Talk and are bringing you guys daily combat sports videos. So if you enjoyed the content, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel. Manny Pacquiao is undoubtedly one of the greatest boxers of all time and a massive legend in the sport, who many admire for his boxing style, characteristics, and being the only ever 8-time division world champion. And in his prime, Pacquiao was a devastating force and really captured viewers all around the world. But now at 46 years of age, for him to be coming back, possibly taking damage even further to himself. And what's the point of potentially tainting even further the tail end of your career by racking up more losses when it's just unnecessary? When he was last fighting in the ring 2021 against Yordenis Ugas, he lost that fight in a unanimous decision, and it was pretty clear he lost that fight convincingly. And at most, that should have been his last fight, take him into the sunset, and for him to fully retire. But he's deciding to come back once again at 46. This fight is gonna be for Mario Barrios' WBC welterweight belt, which is just insane for him to be coming back. And he could even possibly cement himself as one of the oldest boxing champions in history. But Mario Barrios isn't just some walkover, and especially during the prime of his career, this could end not too well for Manny.
Yeah, it honestly kind of feels irresponsible to bring in a legend like this and put them into a world title fight after not being in the ring professionally for over 3 years, almost 4 years since he fought Ugas and lost. The last time he won a fight was about 6 years ago against Keith Thurman. And while Pacquiao has defied the odds his whole life, his whole career, how many divisions he conquered, he always fought the best, was always game, was always ready to take on any challenge, any comers. At a point it becomes to a detriment, especially at this point in his career at 46 years old. At these lighter weight classes, already age is a huge factor, and the younger guys obviously prosper. Maybe if you're a heavyweight or you are one of those heavier weights, you can get away with it a little bit more. Infamously, George Foreman at 45 years old making a second run at that heavyweight championship. But this is a completely different circumstance. Manny Pacquiao has been through so many wars in his career. He's been through highs and lows, infamously getting knocked out brutally by Juan Manuel Marquez in their 4th fight, that quadrilogy, and he's taken a lot of damage. He has a lot of mileage, and it just doesn't feel right for him to be getting a world title shot against a young champion right now in Mario Barrios. Even though I don't feel like Mario Barrios is the biggest threat, especially at welterweight, it's not like he's going into the deep end and fighting Boots Ennis immediately, but still, this is a young guy. This is a guy 15 years younger than him, and obviously Pacquiao has the experience, he has the legacy, but it just doesn't feel right for him to make a return at this point in his career, because I don't know how much he still does have left. He did have an exhibition last year in Japan against Rukia Anpo, and he didn't look too spectacular. Obviously over the years he got bigger, he got a little bit slower. He doesn't seem like that same Manny Pacquiao that we all know and love from his prime. If he has to do it financially, if he can't find another way to make the income out of the ring, it's just a sad reality of the sport that these guys have to come back way past their prime, way after their careers have already gone and went pretty much, and coming back just because of the name he has, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it's a shame, and it feels like this happens kind of frequently in boxing now, whether it's Roy Jones Jr., Mike Tyson, or Floyd Mayweather. However many legends that are trying to come back maybe for a payday. Of course this is different because Manny's actually fighting for a belt compared to Floyd Mayweather, who goes for exhibitions just purely for the payday. But still, for someone who's done literally everything in his career, there's just no point really to come back even for the chance of a belt. And for the people that might be expecting a vintage Manny Pacquiao, I just don't think that's realistic. There's a reason boxers retire when they get up there in age. You slow down, the training camps become harder, and it's just in general not as easy to prepare for that, and all your attributes are heavily declined as well. Of course, if he was in his prime, he would probably clear out Mario Barrios very easily, but it's just different times now, and it feels like an unnecessary risk for him, especially as, like you said, we saw in that exhibition how much declined he already is, and now he's gonna be even a year older in this fight. But some of those guys just have so much passion for the sport, and this is all they've ever known in their lives, and they just don't know when to hang it up. They feel like this is their only purpose. Even Oscar De La Hoya talked about a similar situation when he retired. It's just hard for these guys that have been at the very top of the hill, dominating, being defining champions in history, having to retire and then kind of having a life of normalcy where you're not going and preparing for war in that ring. But it's still eventually gotta happen for everyone. And with this fight happening, hopefully it'll be the last one for Manny Pacquiao, just purely for the potential ramifications. And anything can happen in that ring. You just don't want to see Pacquiao get hurt, especially when he's had brutal KOs in his career. Obviously, Mario Barrios isn't really known for having some crazy KO power and potentially might just outbox him if he were to win. But still, that's damage over 12 rounds, a long time, and that could even arguably be worse than just getting dropped once and then getting put out. So honestly, it's just tough to see Manny getting back in there.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's different when you're doing an exhibition like Floyd Mayweather's been doing. He's had all these different exhibitions since his retirement. He's been fighting YouTubers like Logan Paul and Deji and Aaron Chalmers and John Gotti III, like not pro active boxers, let alone world champions in their prime. Like you said, I don't think Mario Barrios is the biggest threat in the world. It just doesn't really sit right regardless. We saw what happened with Mike Tyson returning last year against Jake Paul, and that's Jake Paul. Obviously, granted, Mike Tyson was 58 years old, which is 12 years older than even Manny Pacquiao is, but imagine they sent Mike Tyson to an Anthony Joshua or a Tyson Fury or Daniel Dubois or Usyk right now. Like, it's just not right. Obviously, he fought Jake Paul in like an exhibition with bigger gloves, more protection, but even then it was only 8 rounds, 2 minutes each. This is going to be a 12th round fight with 3 minutes each, like a professional world title fight. And like I said earlier, these lower weight classes really can't get away with that decline in age. That's inevitable as you begin to age, let alone how many wars Manny's been through throughout his career. It would be historic if he is able to become one of the oldest champions in history. It's just not really worth the risk. Pacquiao right now is well past his prime. We already saw a decline in Pacquiao about 10 years ago. Even when he was fighting Floyd Mayweather, it really wasn't exactly that same Manny Pacquiao in his prime by any means, and it's just a shame that we're going to see a version of Manny Pacquiao that isn't really a fair representation of his actual skills, how great of a boxer he is, how much of a legend he is, how he's been able to conquer so many divisions in the sport, beat so many legends, fight pretty much everyone there was to fight: Antonio Margarito, Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, Ricky Hatton, Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, Juan Manuel Marquez, and more. He's fought the who's who, and he always fought the best, always fought all the killers, everyone in front of him, and now he's going to be coming back at 46 years old against Mario Barrios, who did fight last year to a draw on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. He fought Abel Ramos, and it was a close fight. Both guys dropped each other. Mario Barrios didn't really look completely world level and like he's the best welterweight in the world by any means, but still, he's a young guy in his prime, and he's been fighting actively compared to Pacquiao, who hasn't had a pro fight in about 4 years. So it's just tough to see. I'm definitely worried. All these kind of fights just don't feel right when you get an older legend coming back, especially when they're fighting a younger prime world champion. Hopefully it all goes well. It's just tough to see all these guys coming back well past their best.
Yeah, and honestly, I think there should start being some stuff put in place to prevent this type of thing from happening now in the future. I get it, these commissions want these legends to come in for these massive fights still, but I don't really think it's too ethical. And yes, of course, it's the fighter's choice. Manny's a grown man, he can do whatever he wants, but is it really the right thing to put in place? Because no matter what, Manny's gonna say yes, he's a fighter in his heart and a born fighter, but that's where I think someone else has to have the right in place to prevent that from happening, or maybe if anything allowed to be an exhibition, because pro fight seems way too extreme, especially for these guys that are pushing 50 years old now. So we'll have to see what happens in the future. But let us know down below what you think about Manny Pacquiao's return to the ring, and if you want to see more boxing on the channel, be sure to click the video on the screen. Canelo vs. Crawford will not end well.